No. What's the case though? The case is okay. Can you kidnap your son? No. Okay, so let's. I'm going to read the Gemara this time. Okay, so the Gemara says, "My time at the Rabbanan." So what's the reason for Rabbanan? So it says, so according to Rabbanan, you're putter if you kidnap your own son, right? Okay. So the question is, the Gemara says, why? Okay, so Amar Baye, the Amar Kra, Ki Yimatzeh. Okay, so what does the Torah say? It says you come across, you find. Okay, Prat Lamatzoi. Now that comes to exclude someone who is found. Matzoi. Okay. Next, so then the Gemara says, really? So the Gemara says, Amalei Rapapa Labaye, Ela Me'ata Ki Yimatzeh Ish. Okay, Shochev Im Isha Bu'ulas Baal. But there's another time that we use Ki Yimatzeh. Okay. Now, so the key thing to focus on at this point is that it would seem like there's an equation. Every time it says Ki Yimatzeh, Prat Lamatzoi. Okay. So now, by the case of adultery, right, it also says Ki Yimatzeh, and that should mean Prat Lamatzoi. Okay. Right? Okay. But that's impossible, right? Because he says, Hachinami Ki Yimatzeh Prat Lamatzoi. Kagon. Now, what would the case be? Now, here's what's critical. Look at the case. Kagon. Shall base ploni, like for instance, they're sharing a house. The shchichon gabayo, hachinami de ptiri. So you're going to tell me in that case they're also pater because they're found with each other. Okay, and what does Rashi say? Rashi says, shall base ploni lo ratza lahaskir she shmam. So Rashi wants to say their names. She chashuvan ayu because they were important people. You shouldn't think ill of the people who lived in that house. Uvazeh lo hayu noagin kedas shahayu harbe darim bebayis echad. On nashim, v'nashim, v'hayu mitsuyan tamid im nishei chaverein, v'lo shemis yachadin. So there was never any yichud, but there's two things that Rashi is telling you on how to understand this case. One is what? Like the Gemara says, shichan gabayo, or Rashi explains that mitsuyan tamid. What does mitsuyan tamid mean?
They're always
around. Okay, so always around, meaning now it's a little more technical, accessible. Yeah. Okay, so Matzoi equals accessible, but there's another point this is bringing out which is critical, which I should have focused on last time. Forget there was never yichud. There's another point that's critical here, which is if accessibility is the definition of Matzoi, okay, so then go back to Gonev as Beno. Gonev as Beno is limiting our case to what? Father kidnapping a son. Let's just play with that for now, okay? Now, but one second. But if that means what?
It doesn't necessarily mean he's accessible all the time.
Well, we have to define what accessible means. Like familiarity is a better word. Familiar is a better word to use. Familiar, right? They're not strangers. Okay, but one second. But the Gemara never has a havamina to assume that would mean anytime I have a relationship with anybody. What's specific about this case here?
They live together.
Live together, right? What does Rashi say? Same rishus, right? He says harbe darim bebayis echad. A lot of people live in one house. Okay, that's the second critical point. Bayis echad. One house. Why am I emphasizing that? Now go back to Gonev as Beno. Okay? What do we now know based on this for sure that this case is talking about?
Same house.
What? Right. So there's two things you require just to start this whole process. One is the idea of matzah being accessible, and the other one is there has to be a makom. Because if there's no makom, there's no bias, what's the problem? Then the havina is anyone I know. Right? Anyone I know. I can know anybody, and that could produce the effect of familiarity, which you therefore say, I am pater.
Right, and then even all the more so when he mentions it by the Rebbe. He's always fine.
That's a right. I know. Okay, hold on. We'll get to that in a second. You're right. But I want to show why you had to learn it this way. So now, just be careful. This actually, I'm going to show you is really one point. But the point is you have to understand this case in the middle, this case of shochev, is bringing out 2 points. One is not a chiddush. One is now we know for sure matzah means familiar, which is applied to here, but also bayis echad. In order for the kasha to be equivalent, remember that the question has to be equivalent to the premise, right? They're trying to line it up. So you're telling me this, I can show you apply this to this, and it won't work. But this and this have to be the same. This has to be X, and this has to be X. Therefore, mathematically,
the same case.
Because then how is it a kasha? Well, then it says you're right. So when it says Amalei ana mivinimsa biyado kamina. So what do we learn out from? We learn out from vinimsa biyado equals prat l'matzoi. Okay? Now, this is where I'm going to change, where, again, kudos to the chef, right? I will agree with one thing. The shift to the nimsa biyado, okay, the maskana, this shift, not because of the wording, that's where you're wrong, but the shift to the maskana is telling us something different. It's taking, I'm not giving a svar yet, but it's going to take whatever this idea of matzah is, it can't abandon the original concept, but it's going to have to modify it. So whatever you think matzah is here, the conclusion of the Gemara is, it's still going to be somewhat related to this, but with a modification. Okay? With a modification. Now how do I know that's the case?
Well, because it's accessible.
This idea of accessible is there, but it's more.
A little bit of variation because it doesn't work because of the outrageous conclusion that...
Right. It's not just that it's loading out from a different word, but it's changing a parameter. Now how do I know that? Okay? I'll show you how I know that in a second.
It's almost like the shofet case
No.
worked
I
as
wouldn't
a
know it intuitively.
It almost worked
Someone help me.
like the shofet case worked as a hot meaning to say that they were in the same house.
Right. Right.
There
Okay.
was a thought to say that they need to be in one house, but really that's not the case.
It's more than Rishus.
Right.
You're going to see it's more than Rishus. Now,
Why is it not obvious?
the Gemara then says, okay, and also Amarabba Hilkach, therefore, Hani Mikri Dardiki Umasar Rabbanan, why Kimitsuyan Biyadon Damu? Uptiri. So that Gemara goes one step further. And look at it says the case of students. Now here Dardikim actually means very, very young students, okay, like elementary school. Elementary school students, it's not relevant, but you'll see why. Elementary school students, right, who learned their Rebbe, if the Rebbe kidnapped one of them, okay, he wouldn't be chayv in kidnapping. Why? Now, what does Rashi say? Again, same thing, found in his house.
The next question would be, what is the nature
So
of
I'm saying you have both things again: mitsuyin tamid and bias. That's what Rashi's saying. I haven't given any idea yet. Slow down. But mitsuyin bias tamid, okay, and that's the reason why, and that's why it won't be subject to kidnapping. Parak Tes in Hilchos Goneva Halacha Hey Hagonev es beno. Now, the Rambam should have stopped right there. Why? Because all the Gemara has is Gonev es beno. But look what he says. Oh, as echav akatan, meaning if I kidnap my younger brother. Okay? V'chein, now what's an apotropos? You guys know what that is?
Yeah. It's like a woman man thing.
No.
That's a dress.
Shidganbu as a yisomim. What's an apotropos? So basically, the best way to put it is, it's like, close. I mean, and it's really like a person who's an administrator for orphans. In other words, he's like their guarantor, or like, I guess like their foster parents. Okay, but it's not really a foster parent, but for now we'll use that interpretation.
Guardian kind of takes.
A guardian, thank you. Guardian.
Takes care of the kids.
Right. So Yaakov. So a guardian, right? So a guardian that kidnaps
That's a literal.
the orphans. Okay. No. Yeah, that's the literally translated. Okay, the guardian that kidnaps his kids, the orphans. Now listen to what he says. Shehain smucham etzlam. That what do? They rely on him. In other words, he's their guardian. Okay. Ubalabayas. Let's say a husband. Okay. Sheganov echad mibnei beso. That kidnaps someone who's lives with him in his house. Hasmuchan al shulchano. Who what?
Eat at his table.
He's at his table. Meaning what? He relies on him to eat. Okay.
For Gashmis, he was relying upon him.
Umilame tinokos. Okay. And someone who teaches tinokos, a rebbe. Sheganav echa min aktanim, who kidnaps one aktanim halom and etzlo. Okay. Af al pi shenishtam shemachar pater shenemar v'nimso biyado prad le'elu shehem mitsuyin biyado. Okay. So what's the Rambam telling us here?
It's not just Beno.
Guardian.
Well, it means what? Guardians? Not all guardians.
Well, means that-
So what's the Gemara telling us? Just to go in order one more time. The Gemara first posits that problem, familiarity. The Gemara brings in the kasha, right, by shochev.
Just be that.
And what the shochev exposes two things. One is matzoi, we know for sure means familiar. The other one is that bais echad seems to be the parameter. And this is important also. You have to explain this. Because the truth is that, what is bais echad adding? What it's adding is, it's removing the case of, well, I happen to meet someone on the street, right? I'm chayiv if I kidnap them. Right? It's not that kind of. It's a different kind of familiarity.
Okay, so
right? And then the Gemara's conclusion, plugging in the Rambam, is that it's an idea in relying. Now, the Gemara does. The Gemara says v'hilkach. Therefore, right, based on whatever spar you say, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Whatever spar you say here will naturally. I should say naturally. Whatever spar you say by matzi by reliance, you should be able to apply to the case of Rebbe and kids.
Because that's the third example. Why? I mean,
because the Gemara is saying
it
hilkach.
makes sense, but why?
Why does it intuitively make sense?
Because it's like the next step. It's the third example. We have to deal with it. I don't know. We have to deal.
No, why? It's not necessitative. The Gemara is telling you that, oh, I see your Svar of Matzoi, and we can apply it to Rebbe and kids as well.
Because Rebbe and Talmud also.
Well, we don't know. We don't know why yet. Don't worry about the why, because you see, you're working from the small, right, like the pyramid, back to the big.
The Gemara says we have to handle Rebbe Talmud.
The Gemara says whatever. We're not giving you the Svar, but the Gemara is saying whatever Svar you want to say about Matzoi should have. You have to take one leap. You got to say it will apply to Rebbe Talmud with one tiny modification.
Why do we have to take that step? Obviously, because Matzoi, it describes one element of the Rebbe Talmud relationship. There's a Matzoi in there.
Yes, essentially yes.
The Talmud,
but there is one feature missing. You'll see. Okay, so now.
The second statement. Guess what? Could it be?
Let's start with the first question. Okay, the first question is the Gemara's Havamina is that Matzoi. Forget Bais Echad for a second, okay? Which I know you already have the answer to that, okay? Familiarity. It's excluding familiarity, okay?
Meaning, can you say the first assumption?
First assumption of the Gemara is Havamina means assumption. The assumption of the Gemara is Matzoi means familiarity, and that familiarity, right? For whatever, I'm not interested in the philosophy, like why that should be the case. But the Gemara is telling you you're putter if it's someone who's Matzoi. Okay, so what's the Gemara telling us that? What does Ki Matzoi mean then at that point?
Familiarity.
No, that's what it factually means. I want to know what's it telling you halachically. No, we don't know Bais Echad yet. Forget Bais Echad. So I'll explain it again. The first step of the Gemara is as follows. The Gemara is saying that Ki Matzei teaches you what? It's telling you there's only one kind of person you can kidnap: a stranger.
So I'm saying
a stranger. If he's anything but a stranger, meaning I know him. Okay, once I know him, it means that he's lacking the quality. Strangers are quality. It means he's lacking the quality of a stranger, which therefore means I can never produce nigdav in the guy. It's not a deficiency in rishus. It's not a deficiency in imor. It's not a deficiency in mechira. I can't get the Geneva car started. It's impossible. Which means it's a psul in the ability to define him as a nigdav. Okay, a defect. I'm unable to define him as a nigdav. That's the first overall step you have to take.
No pun intended.
Right. Were you saying the problem with this? No, but you're right, by the way. I'm saying that's the problem. The problem in Nignav is that to define someone as a Nignav, that's what Kimatzei literally means. I come across someone, a stranger. Once he's anything but a stranger, there's some bias there. I don't care why. I don't care if it means he can't relate to it. Who cares? That's a philosophical question. All we care about is one thing. Halakha is saying that there's a psul, there's a defect in how you relate to the guy. You cannot create Nignav. That's impossible. That's impossible. Okay. Now, just left it as I know the person, then what's going to happen?
You know everyone.
I know anyone I know. If I make an acquaintance with someone, so what does this do? So the case of Shochei brings this out. But what's Bais Echad doing? Now say what you guys were saying before.
Modify familiarity.
Right. I mean, how?
That's what
it puts it in
right. What is the parameter of familiarity? Bias. That's the tziruf. It's not that I know you, right? Like, I know Arya. But it's by the fact that we share a makom.
So Havamina is giving a little.
Once a previous relationship exists, okay, that seems to be that there's a bias. There's some inherent that bias produces some sort of psul and creating the chalos of nigga. Oh, a second. So the Gemara says, but because that becomes ridiculous.
Right. So how is just a limitation.
Yeah, exactly. It's telling what does familiarity mean? It doesn't mean that I happen to know you. It's what creates familiarity is that we live together.
Right.
So
it's just a limitation, though.
It is. Yeah. Right. It's limiting. It's limiting. It's modifying familiar. It's limiting familiar to say familiar means Bais Echad.
Yeah. It can't just be
yes. Of course. Yeah. Exactly. I'm just trying to show why those 2 points are there. Okay. The Rambam has Gonev es beno, Echav Akatan, Apitropis, Balabayas, Smuchan al Shulchano. All these cases seem to be a situation of dependency.
But you need both words. You need.
The problem is that you can't. In other words, the Gemara says originally that as long as a person's familiar to you, and let's assume we're going to include Bais Echad as well. In other words, the Bais Echad familiarity creates a psul in the creation of Nignav, right? In other words, meaning that it has to be 100% pure stranger. But the Gemara is rejecting that to some extent. It's saying that no, because we agree that by Ki Matzei, right? You would agree that if there's no excluding these cases of Gonev, etc. Let's say like I work for someone and he lives with me, right? I would be chayav if I kidnapped him, right? Okay. So what is so Arya is correct. Arya said
tweak it a bit.
Yes. If you provide for someone, what the Gemara is telling you is that a provider can never. If you're a provider for someone,
of what?
A provider going a beno. 1 second. Last steps like this. Beforehand, we're saying that the problem is that me, in other words, if I know someone, I can't produce the Chalashem Nigdav on the guy. Why? Because there's some defect in that production. In other words, he's not a pure stranger. Now, what are we saying? What's the thing about a provider? A provider can't. In other words,
Also can't be going.
Nignav is what? Nignav, no. Nignav is what relative to a provider? It's a
Impossible.
yes, impossible, but
possibility.
it's a stira.
Yeah.
It can't be an emor for what? Right. Emor. No, the whole point is that a provider. It's not an idea anymore that there's a psul. Like in other words, that I'm trying to create nignav, but I can't because there's one feature. It's not a question of there's something lacking in my ability to create nigdav. It's saying that who I am is a stira to the very notion of nigdav in this specific person. I can't create him in a different way because of the nature of our relationship. Our relationship prevents that creation. Now, and that naturally applies to Rebbe, because all the cases for are talking about Gonev Espino, according to the Rambam, is epitomizing physical dependency. But what about spiritual dependency, Torah? So that kind of dependency as well, a Rebbe can never kidnap his Talmud. That's the spark.